Good morning, Raptor freaks. Saturday morning, the Raptors have another doubleheader today. Two very important games for the Raptors 9:05 and the Raptors tonight. And we got all the information you need to know for the games to set you up. Last night, Minnesota Timberwolves played the Chicago Bulls in a double overtime game that was a thriller. The Bulls overcame them by the end of the game. DeMar DeRozan had a huge game, and it was very impressive. Now, listen, that's crazy. The Wolves played last night a lot of minutes, so they should be worn out today when we play them tonight here. And also, very big injury for them last night in the game. Anthony Edwards left the game 8 minutes into the game with a twisted ankle, and he was seen in a walking boot on the bench later on for that game against Chicago last night. So Edwards is day to day. I don't know what this means. I mean, it seems like if he had to miss the rest of the game last night, that he probably won't play tonight just because that injury just happened like last night. So we'll have to see. But he is officially listed as day to day right now. Anthony Edwards getting hurt last night. Jaylen Noel is out as the backup guard, and Karl Anthony Towns is still out from his calf injury, but he is expected to be coming back in the next couple of weeks before the end of the season. Rudy Gobert was also hurt for the Minnesota Timberwolves recently, but he returned to the lineup last night, and he had a pretty decent game last night himself. Very, very crazy game, honestly. Like, it was 139 to 131, double overtime game. Lots of minutes played by these Timberwolves last night. 46 minutes for Mike Conley, 45 minutes for McDaniels, 51 minutes for Kyle Anderson, 33 minutes for Gobert. So these guys should hopefully be pretty worn out. Now, the Timberwolves are a different team than the team that beat us by 2 points in January. That was an annoying game. I had forgotten about it. And that's why I was like, everybody's talking about D'Angelo with the Lakers when we recently played them last Friday. I totally forgot that he had hit game winners against us in January because I sometimes just block out bad memories. And that Minnesota game against them in Minnesota this year for the Raptors was a bad memory because it was a game that really they could have won, but at the last minute we lost by 2 points. And, that was really D'Angelo Russell, but he's been traded. He's not on this team anymore. And now they've got Mike Conley on this team. And as he was part of the which way went this way to them in that whole deal that sent D'Angelo Russell to the Lakers. Now, Conley has some time accrued with Rudy Gobert from their years in Utah. So in some ways, even though he's new to the Minnesota Timberwolves, he does have some players around him that he's played with for quite a while. People like Gobert and Nickel Alexander, SGA's cousin, who will be playing tonight off the bench. So it's going to be an interesting game. Like I said, Minnesota is going to be very tired, and they should be very worn down. We need to be so aggressive and so quick up and down the court, really capitalize on the fact that they had to play a double overtime last night in Chicago, and it took forever for that game to be over. And you go DeMar DeRozan scoring 49 points in the double overtime win with 14 rebounds, 15 to 25 for DeMar last night. Woo! Look at the Bulls. Even though that doesn't help us, we don't want the Bulls to win because they're below us and they're possibly, but I'm not worried about them. I don't think they can catch up to us. It was like a lot of the teams that we wanted to lose last night did not lose. The Warriors could not get the job done against the Hawks. That really would have helped us a lot, Steph and company, if you had beaten the Hawks last night, you idiots. Now we have a little bit further to get get the Hawks. But if they had lost, we would have been right next to them and have a chance to pass the Hawks to get into the 8th seed in the play-in. But because the Warriors couldn't get it done, you dummies, come on, Warriors, be better than that. Beat the Hawks. Oh, you jerks. Wish you really had won that game because you should have. And we're not close enough to the Hawks to surpass them tonight. I think that we should forget about, in some ways, what the other teams are doing in the standings as far as winning and losing, because we can't control this. Really just focus on the Raptors and collecting those W's and getting back to 500. We're 2 games under 500 now. So that means we get 2 more wins. Boom. We're back at 500, and that'd be fantastic. Now, this is the first game of a back-to-back for ourselves. We play Minnesota tonight, and then we travel to Milwaukee and play the Bucks tomorrow. So, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Of course, we'll do the preview for that game tomorrow and make sure you guys get all the pertinent information setting that game up too. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's take care of business against the Timberwolves tonight. Yeah, like I said, they're hurt. Anthony Edwards is their best player at this point this season. And him maybe possibly not playing because he got hurt last night, that is not a bad thing to help us possibly win. Trust me. Now, like I said, Gobert just showed back up last night, and he actually played pretty well for not being totally fresh. He had a double-double, 21 points and 19 rebounds. Now, I was going to say, if there's no Gobert or Towns, well, we have the advantage with Poeltl. But because Gobert is around, that means Poeltl's got to be really tough and play him well. Once again, because these are Western Conference centers, they have a lot of experience playing each other. And I love that about Jakob. In some ways, his time on the Spurs is so valuable against big centers of the West. And Gobert is definitely one of those guys. One of the guys we need to really worry about if Anthony Edwards isn't playing tonight, but either way, is Kyle Anderson. He has found all kinds of success with the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. In fact, he played really well against us in the game we played against them earlier this season, and we need to look out for him. Also, McDaniels is dangerous. He's playing very, very well in his position as a very talented young man. These are guys that we really got to key on and look out for, especially if Edwards isn't around. They're going to try and go to these guys more often than not in Anthony Edwards' absence if he doesn't suit up tonight. Mike Conley, of course, we know Mike Conley, very savvy vet point guard running this Minnesota team at this point. So it's a different look for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but I feel confident about things tonight. We have got inertia. We've had a lot of gumption lately, and we need to come out and just do things like we have been this week so far in this homestand. And let's sweep this homestand, get 3 in a row, protecting the home court tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Our injuries, that we do have some. Listen, it was bad news yesterday from Nick Nurse in the practice interview. Christian Koloko has a fractured nose, and he is questionable to play today against Minnesota. He will be wearing a mask, guys, if he does. Nick Nurse in the practice interview yesterday was joking, or not really joking, but, kind of saying this is the second broken nose we've had this season where the call went against us and there was no call about it either. It really is really bad that they missed that flagrant elbow by Jalen Williams against the Thunder the other night. And, this is true. We've had 2 players get fractured noses, and we don't get any calls. There's no review. There's no nothing. They don't look at it. They don't do nothing about it. Who cares is basically the referee's attitude about Raptors getting broken noses in games. And that's what Nick said. He said, we've had 2 players this year get broken noses, and the referees, there's no call or nothing for them. And that's kind of annoying. That really is annoying. It's too bad this happened with Christian. In some ways, he's had some bad luck this season in certain ways. But hopefully, maybe he'll still show up and play with a mask. And that could be very interesting to see. Delano Banton is completely ruled out for both games today for the Raptors 905 and the Raptors. His thumb is still bugging him, so he will not be available. And Ron Harper's day-to-day still, but I don't believe that, because I saw Ron suited up for the Raptors game against OKC. You better be playing at 2 o'clock, Ron, is what I'm saying. We need all hands on deck for that Raptors 905 game against Lakeland today. It's a rematch from the other day. We should have never lost to them the other day, and now we got to play them again today. And this is do or die, 2 p.m., Paramount Fine Food Center. It's the second to last home game for the Raptors 905 this season. They only have 4 games left. This is no time to waste. Y'all need to fucking win Raptors 905 because you're not in the playoffs right now. You're in the 10th seed, and there's only 6 teams going in. So you do the math. You better get some wins because you ain't going to get there or not. Raptors, do you care about the 905 getting to the playoffs and doing things further? Well, send them some players from your team to help them. Joe Wieskamp, Jeff Doughton. I guess don't send Koloko at this point because his nose is broken. But it'd be great if at least Ron Harper could show up and suit up to play for them today. It's a really important game. And let me do the ref report for that, because in some ways the ref report for that game matters. They have kept Brandon Schwab here in Toronto since the other day. This man's going to be reffing 3 games in Toronto in a row, with him reffing the 905 game against Lakeland the other day, and then having to emergency jump in and ref the game against the Thunder. Well, he's that crew chief once again for the Lakeland at Raptors 905 game today. Brandon Schwab. He is not one of our favorite refs. He's not very good to the Raptors, although we won the last game he ref. He's from Orlando, Florida. He likes to show community. He likes the movie Matrix. He would like some Penang curry and mango with sticky rice. He's annoying. He's kind of like, to me, he's like a little shit referee. You little shit. That's what I say. Well, he's the crew chief. The second ref is Pat O'Connell, who's another one of those refs that kind of flips into the NBA a lot. So he's pretty experienced for a G League ref. And then Jacob Barnett is the third ref. So Schwab, O'Connell, and Barnett are our refs for the G League Raptors 905 game against Lakeland Magic. They have to win this game. I'm serious. If they don't win this game, fuck it, they're done. This year's done and over, and all right, good job. You're out after like this game. I'm pretty sure if they don't win today, they may be statistically out of the picture, just because there's too many teams that are vying for very few spots. And if they don't, they're in big trouble. Like, I'm looking at this right now. Like I said, they're way down there now, 14-14 and 10th place. And there's so many teams above them now: Cleveland, Fort Wayne, Motor City, Windy City, Lakeland, College Park, Capital City Go-Go. They're all the teams that are fighting with them for 3 playoff spots. And there's like 7 teams. There's 8 teams actually fighting for those spots. And the Raptors are on the bottom of the heap right now. Oh my gosh, I hate this so much. Now, if they lose again today to the Lakeland Magic, and there's any funny stuff with Brandon Schwab, we'll know there's something weird about him reffing both games in a row and them losing both games. I don't understand that. They're supposed to switch refs up. Maybe they do this just to not have like travel or something. I don't know. But it's not common, even in the 905 level, to see the same ref be the crew chief for the same game 2 in a row like this. I don't like it to a degree. I think it's real fishy. I think it's real fishy. But yeah, the 905 need help today, Raptors. Send them whoever you can that's available that can go down there and help them. They're going to need it, because Lakeland did kick their ass by 20 the other day. And yeah, 2:00. That's the tip-off. Paramount Fine Foods. Be ready, Raptors fans. If you're a diehard like me, you'll be watching it also. All right, let me check in with you guys in the comments and see what you're saying this morning. We got Jimmy Pope, the Pope of Positivity, first in the comments today. A tough back-to-back, but I got faith. Go Raptors. Yes, Jimmy, keep the faith. Be a real one. Be a true Raptor freak and say, yeah, I know what's going on. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, and we travel to Central Time and play the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow. And that's going to be fun. The Bucks losing to the Pacers the other night. That's interesting to me. Like I said, we need to kick the Bucks' ass. We need to catch them on a bad time for them and a good time for us and kick their butt. Mike is here. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. Logical Raptors fanatic. Yes, Mike. Good to see you. I saw that you did a live stream last night. I hope it went well. I haven't checked it out or anything. I was busy with different things yesterday. I had to do my videos. He's saying I was looking at the schedule, and those last 3 or 4 games against Boston, the Bucks, will be sitting guys and not letting Nick expose them before the playoffs. I think you might be right. That's the hilarious thing. If we're sitting in the play-in and we're looking at those 2 teams as possible first-round opponents to get out of the play-in to play, that very well could be the strategy for Joe Mazzulla or Coach Bud, that they want to like sit certain guys. I thought they were going to do that anyway. There is a real tradition of top teams, if they're already in their spot and they're not really worried about moving any direction with the seeding, resting guys right at the end of the season to give them a little extra time to rehabilitate or be ready for the first round. So in some ways, that is a favor to us that Milwaukee's last game against us is the last game of the season, and that the two Boston games are right before that. So yeah, it's an interesting gambit. The three last games of the Raptors regular season, those games could go any which way. Honestly, it could be easier to beat those teams at that time at the end of the season than any other time during the whole season for particular reasons. So yeah, we'll have to monitor this, Mike. And a lot of this may have to do with what's going on with the standings and the matchups that are lining up for the end of the year. Let's see. Curtis is here. Good to see Curtis. Is Anthony Edwards playing today? It is dubious whether he's playing today. Right now, he's officially listed as day to day. I would say, listen, I didn't see the injury last night, but he did go early, but he did return to the bench in a walking boot. Just so you know, he was wearing a walking boot on the bench during the most of that game last night in his street clothes because he couldn't return to the game. So we'll have to see whether he's going to be available or not. If you're asking me, as far as like my expertise and watching things, I'll bet you he won't play tonight. I will bet you he won't, just because it was a fresh injury last night. But who knows? I may be wrong. He's a young man who could very much heal quickly. And it could be that he just twisted his ankle for the night. And then magically he gets up today and he's like, I'm fine, coach. Play me, Finch. You know, it could be like that too. Jimmy's saying, hope Anthony Edwards is all right. He hurt his ankle bad. Always hate to see that. Yeah, we don't like to see people get hurt. But, you know, listen, if it happens to happen because of the schedule and who they're playing next, you know, so be it. That's just how it is in the NBA. You got to ride the waves. And when you get teams, if they don't have everybody, well, that's your good or bad luck. And I feel like that has just been such a big part of this season for teams. And when they match up with people, it's like, well, when did you catch them? Was that person out or not at that time? Yeah, well, then you may have had an easier chance to beat that team. It's just how it goes. They've had it against us, and we've had it against other teams. It's the NBA. Let's see. Nameless is saying, let's fucking go. Yeah. Let's just take care of our own business tonight. Let's not worry about the others. That's right. That's exactly right, Nameless. There's too much craziness going on around the league in different places, different stuff going on. And it really is focus on your own work and get it done. And that's all that matters, Raptors. You take care of your own business, take care of your own work, and good things will come from it. That's the thing. You get distracted when you start thinking about, oh, what are the Joneses doing across the street? Don't worry about them Joneses. Just worry about yourself and get your own stuff done. You'll be fine. Yeah. Mike is saying also the schedule looks favorable to be an over 500 team by the end. I think we can do it for sure. And doing that might get us a 7th or 8th seed. So things look doable at this point for our guys. You know what's really weird, Mike? Think about this. What if Masai and Bobby are such badasses? I know that you've talked about how they're geniuses with some of the things they've done with the Joe Wieskamp signing and different moves that they've done recently in the front office. Well, think about this. What if they're maximizing every potential outcome for this season? They're like, all right, we want to get in the play in. We want to do really well. We want to get far, but hey, why not have it all? Why not get a good draft pick and get playing experience? Because I've been thinking about this. In some ways, they really have the team in a weird spot. I know it's not on purpose. Obviously, we'd like to just be in the playoffs and have none of these issues and the losing and stuff. But it's kind of like as you go through the season, you maximize the best potential things to happen for your team. And in a way, if you're in a playing spot, it's kind of like a little bit of the best of both worlds. You know, it may be a little half-assed. You're not going to get victory probably, and you're not maybe going to go deep in the playoffs, but at least you get some of that playoff experience, and you get a pretty decent lottery pick. So I think that that's something that's not being said enough by Raptors fans is that, look, Masai and Bobby are badasses. They're going to kind of do both. We could get some playing experience, play some playoffs, but also still get a top 10 draft pick. Hey, what's not to like? That's pretty good stuff. And I think that not enough people are saying that about our situation right now, as uncomfortable as it's been. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, Damn, that sucks to hear about Koloko and other fan bases saying we whine about the refs too much. Meanwhile, our guys are just getting broken noses out here. Like, what the fuck? We get flagrant twos if we did it. Yeah, fuck the other fan bases. They're assholes anyway. They're all a bunch of shits. In fact, let's talk about another NBA fan base being put on blast right now by one of their superstars. This is on Twitter this morning from NBA Central. Jaylen Brown of the Celtics is talking about Boston Celtics fans, and he doesn't like them. He says that certain Celtics fans are treating him harshly because he's African American. And he's basically outing that there is a part of Celtics Nation that's super racist. Now, the whole issue is this: it's not about how he plays. This is what he said. It's not the whole Celtic fan base, but it is a part of the fan base that exists within the Celtic Nation that is problematic. If you have a bad game, they tie it to your personal character. I definitely think there's a group or an amount within the Celtic Nation that is extremely toxic and does not want to see athletes use their platform, or they just want you to play basketball and entertain and go home. And that's a problem to me. This is, basically the issue here is, he's alluding to the race stuff. Sure. The race stuff is a problem with Boston Celtics fan nation, but he's alluding to also the shut up and play part of things where it's like they don't want politics. Jaylen Brown's a very politically active kind of mind and person that wants to purports subjects and topics that he champions and thinks strongly about, like things like Black Lives Matters. Well, these really racist Celtic fans are not having any kind of politics around things, and they're mad at him, and they come at him whenever he gets political or speaks out outside the game. Yeah, we know Celtics Nation is racist. And we know that there's problems with every fan nation with people being like this. Just shut up and play. We don't want to hear your politics. But it's probably a lot worse in certain fan nations. I know in particular, if we're looking at our fan nation, which I know best just because I'm in it and I see what's happening around us, most of our fan nation is very social justice warrior kind of like mine like, and that we would fully support Fred and other players on the Raptors speaking out politically about political subjects. There's not as many Raptors fans that would get mad at Raptors players for speaking their mind on issues they care about. So this is in some ways a different level of problem for different teams. I'm sure that there's a problem in Utah also. And it's probably a problem in other U.S. teams, but not in Toronto. There's very, 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 very few minority of fans that would condemn the NBA players that play for our team speaking out in free speech about issues they care about. So that's very interesting. Jaylen Brown is basically saying some Bill Russell kind of stuff. That, yeah, I love playing for the Celtics. I play for the Celtics, but in some ways, I don't play for the city of Boston. And so at least we don't have that kind of issue. And it must be so bad because Jaylen Brown's speaking out publicly about it. I think that's messed up. Free speech is free speech. And especially in a city like Boston that was supposed to liberate the country away from the King of England. And you go fucking act like this, you fucking crusty old white racist piece of shit Celtic fans. Fuck you, is what I'll say on behalf of Jaylen Brown. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, let's keep going with the comments. Just a little story about fan bases there. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Hawks won against the Golden State Warriors, so let's get a dub to stay close in the rankings. Washington lost, so let's capitalize. I like how you put that in there. I mean, it's the hockey team, but where can we watch Raptors 905 games? Okay, Fiercely, at 2 o'clock, there's hopefully the game is on YouTube, hopefully. They switch it around sometimes, but let me just look and see for sure if it's going to be on YouTube or it's just going to be on ESPN Plus, because it's a problem when it's on ESPN Plus. You can't really watch it. It looks like it's going to be on YouTube. So basically, Fiercey, what you should do is just go to the 905 website around their official website, Raptors 905, around 2 o'clock, and they'll have the link up in the schedule. In the schedule, you can click on the game, and it'll have it right there. You can just watch it on their website. So go to Raptors 905 official site, and it'll play through YouTube. But yeah, that'll be on at 2 o'clock, and that's a big, important game. So definitely watch it. Fun guy saying no Anthony Edwards could be huge And Rudy playing as well because we can exploit his slowness. He didn't play against all last games, and we basically lost to their small ball lineup. Yeah, I think I remember that too, fun guy. That he wasn't available in the game that we played against them earlier this season. And in some ways, you're right. He's a detriment. He's somebody that's a weakness and that can be exploited. And I think that you're right. I think that this would be a smart thing for Nick Nurse to do is make some sort of plan to attack Rudy Gobert. Maybe a kind of similar thing that what we did on Monday against or Tuesday against the Nuggets. Jokic and Gobert, a little bit of a similar of a profile as a defender in some ways. So, we just got to watch out for his shot blocking. But, yeah, you're right. There are some things we can exploit attached to the big Frenchman. Yeah, I am agreeing with that. Daddy's here. Good to see Daddy. The Bucks do this every year. They don't like to be the first seed. Their ideal spot is the third seed. They like that spot. They will try and lose games to get the second or third seed. That sounds crazy and kind of like, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I mean, they've worked so hard to get up top above the Boston Celtics this season. I don't understand why they would do that. It is best to have the first seed because that means you have home court advantage at least till the finals. And, I don't know. I don't know if that logic's right. I mean, I think they lost the Pacers because they just lost to the Pacers. It's not that they wanted to. They have bad games from time to time, and we know that we play them really well. In fact, I want to kick their ass tomorrow. I want to kick their ass so bad tomorrow because it is something to have in 1 week. You beat the number one Western team and you beat the number one Eastern team. Well, that's a trend I want to see for the Toronto Raptors right now. So yeah, I don't know about this. I agree with a lot what you say, but I don't know if I think I can agree with this. I don't think the Bucks are going to lose on purpose to get to the second or third seed. That doesn't make any sense to me. Paul B is saying revenge game. Now that we have Poeltl today, we'll have a different result than the pain of the last time we saw. I think there's a big difference. The personnel of both teams has shuffled around a little bit. The last time we played Minnesota, that was one of Joe Weezy's first games for us. That was a game where Joe Weezy hit 3 threes and had 9 points, and everybody's like really big on him. Was the last time we played Minnesota. There was no Yakov, as you said, and that's a very big difference but for this Raptors team. So it'll be very interesting to see how our new acquisition go up against their new acquisitions as far as having Mike Conley on this team now. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. No D'Angelo is a big difference too, because he was really the main player, the guy who killed us when we played the Timberwolves earlier this season. So if there's no D'Angelo and there's no Anthony Edwards and there's no Karl Anthony Towns and there's just Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley, well, we'll see. Those other guys are a little bit talented too. Like we got to watch out for McDaniels and Kyle Anderson also. Those guys have been carrying a lot of water for them also. So, and then they've got some guys off the bench that can be a little dangerous too. Evelyn's here. Good to see Granny Evelyn. Good morning, fam. I'm excited for the visit of Tom Duke and Lex birthday next week. Please update us any plans or activities. Is your birthday next week? Mine's in August, Evelyn. We got to wait till August. We'll do that again. We'll have the get together at the end of August. That's going to be a yearly thing. The Raptor Freak get together on my birthday so we can all hang out and just kind of like catch up. I think this year for my birthday, I want to do interviews with you guys. Instead of doing the draft and giving out all the cards like we did last year, I think I want to get each one of y'all in a row who show up and just do sit down one-on-one interviews with the different Raptor Freak regulars that are on this channel that show up for my birthday party, August the 26th. So be ready for that. I don't know whose birthday it is. Evelyn, tell me whose birthday it is. But yeah, we're ready for Tom Duke to come down. In fact, in some ways, I was thinking about what if we do this? What if we have a little bit of a tailgate party at Real Sports in the afternoon before the Indiana game? Anybody who can get down there early, maybe we'll go sit where Raptors Tonight has their little show with the food, and we'll eat the food that we always see on Raptors Tonight. And that would be a good meeting place so people can come as they can get down there and just hang out. And Tom and I will be in there eating wings and having a good time and waiting to see who shows up. So maybe we'll figure that out. Maybe we'll go to Real Sports earlier in the day and check it out and hang out in there. We'll see. We'll figure this out. I'm gonna talk to Tom about what he wants to do. Curtis is here. Good to see Curtis again. I think OG is gonna have another big game for us. I would love that. I mean, we want to see him on both ends, obviously. If he can do some shutting down on somebody on the other side, who's it gonna be? If Edwards showed up, maybe he'd be guarding him. But if he's not going to show up, then maybe he's guarding like Anderson or McDaniels. McDaniels is probably the next guy who's probably most dangerous and versatile offensive scorer. So maybe OG's guarding McDaniels tonight. But I like predicting that OG's going to have a big game. That's always a good prediction to have. And he is in the zone right now. It's the kind of thing where like the defense, he takes control of because he can control it. But the offense, hopefully his shots go in and he looks really good also. But he's just in a zone. I think it's true, Curtis. OG's in a zone right now. Tom Duke's saying he's excited about this week coming up, too. Tom is very excited, I'm sure. Coming to the T-Dot, to the Raptors game for Wednesday. Yeah, you go, Tom. And it's going to be that Indiana Pacers game on Wednesday is a Team Canada, official Team Canada's night, appreciation of Team Canada, since there's so many Canadians on the Pacers team, and we've got Boucher and Banton and Coach Nurse. They're going to do a Team Canada appreciation night on Wednesday for the Pacers game. So that'll be fun, Tom. Very Canadian game. That's right. Mike's saying there was a solid interview with Malachi on the Steve Dangle podcast network. Not into the interviewer, but Malachi talking on all past things in his family. Yeah, I saw that. His name's S, the interviewer, and I used to follow him on Twitter, but he got annoying. Once again, these people get annoying with their personalities and kind of how they cover things and stuff. So I'm not following him anymore because I just want the facts, y'all, on Twitter. Just the facts, man, please. None of the embellishment or opinion or stupid shit. Just tell me what's going on with the team. But yeah, that looks interesting. That interview doesn't look recent, though. I'm looking at Malachi, and it looks like it's from like a couple months ago or from a while ago, but maybe it is. I didn't watch it, but maybe I'll watch it this afternoon. Yeah, so you watched it, Mike? It's pretty good. Malachi's an interesting guy. He's really a misunderstood player on our team. In some ways, everybody's like, why do we still have him? But the players on the team all know why we still have him because they understand because he's a baller and he can fill it up. So it should be very interesting interview. I'll probably watch that today. Let's see. Space Cadet saying, wouldn't mind facing the Sixers in the first round. If they move up to second or first, we could expose them again, especially with a healthy Fred, Gary, and Scotty. I love this idea totally, Space Cadet. Once again, Space Cadet and I are very similar mindset. I would love that matchup also, just for some revenge, just because we have Jakob now. Freddie's healthy and going into this series. It could be a whole different kind of thing. It's really weird. Listen, y'all, we got to know. All right, you remember last year in that series, Gary played horrible, and we found out later that he was sick. Well, that happened again, y'all. Apparently, Nick Nurse let the cat out of the bag at practice interview yesterday that Gary was sick the whole time on the West Coast trip. So that 0-for game that he had against the Lakers has a reason behind it. The man was sick and he was still playing. In fact, they said, well, why did you keep playing? He said, well, because it's this time of year and you got to keep playing if you can. But the man was literally sick. So now we have a reason for why Gary Trent Jr. shot like dog shit against the LA teams last week on that road trip. He was sick. He was sick just like he was in the first round of the Philadelphia series last year. So that makes me feel better. That, like, okay, that makes more sense. This is why Gary went 0-for-9 and shot so horrible against the Lakers. He was sick, y'all. And I don't even think it had anything to do with nightlife or anything like that in LA. I think he was just sick. And that's too bad. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Stillman's giving some information. 9:05 game is on NBA TV Canada. That's if you want to watch it on cable. If it's on TV, you can watch it on there if you got that channel. But if not, you can see it for free without anything on your TV, on your computer, on YouTube. It will also be on there too. Thanks for the info, Stillman. Callie's saying the fact that ref refused to review that play on Koloko burns me. Let's win tonight. Our guys have been playing so well. You go, Callie Mayer. Good to see you. Yeah, it pisses me off too. It's like, you know that it happened. You see the blood coming out. We saw the footage, But in some ways, we're just numb to this kind of shit at this point, Callie, aren't we? It's just we expect this kind of shaft or this kind of bullshit from the referees. So it's like, well, do we want to make it twice as bad because we react and make a big deal and then fuss about it? No, let's gonna be like badasses and say, you know what, you can tarnish us, you can do this, you can do cheating things, you can not give us the due respect like you do other teams. You don't have to give us these calls. You can break our noses. We don't care. We're badasses. We're gonna win anyway, despite all your bullshit. And that really is what we need to be like as a team at this point, character wise, because we can do it. We can overcome this shit. In fact, a lot of what happened with Oklahoma City the other day was overcoming some of the bad calls and things like that and still winning. And that's what I love about this team. That's how we have to be at this point. We just have to be that much better to overcome the unfairness because it's bullshit. Koloko has had some nosebleed problems this season with people hitting him in the face, and they don't do jack shit about it. They really don't. It may be because he's a rookie. I don't know. Maybe it's because of us. I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the refs. Once again, listen, who did we have in that game the other day? Reffing us all of a sudden again? Ben Taylor, right? Well, guess who we've got again today, y'all? Let's do the ref report. This is really crazy. I don't understand why we're getting these refs over and over again, but we've got Ed Malloy again today, and I'm not happy about it. This is really weird. Why do we get Tony Brothers, Ed Malloy, Mark Davis, all these huge referee names for our games right now? There's something they're trying to do with our schedule and our record. Are they trying to control things? Are they trying to put a governor on the Raptors and slow them down because they know they're ready to roll and roll and mess this league up? Was like, seriously, I feel like that's what's happening because Ed Malloy is our crew chief today. And I hate this. I hate Ed Malloy so much. He's a horrible ref for us to have today because he does ref hit jobs. He makes us lose games on purpose, and he's a master at manipulating the game to make that happen. And I hate that. I don't want to see him in Toronto today, and it's pissing me off. His favorite TV show is Jeopardy. He likes that movie Braveheart. His favorite books are Tom Clancy books. His favorite app is Google Maps. Maybe we can put a bug in his Google Maps and tell him not how to get to Toronto and the Scotiabank Arena, and maybe he won't be here. He'd most like to visit Sorrento, Italy. His favorite musician is U2, who just dropped one of the crappiest releases yesterday. I love U2. They're my favorite band. But what the hell was that piece of crap y'all dropped yesterday? Songs of Surrender, 40 songs reworked into like putting us to sleep. I love that band. There's so many things I love about them, but I am so sad that they put out this half-assed fucking piece of shit that they put out yesterday. It's like, that is my true opinion of it. I heard it, I listened to it, and there's no Larry and Adam on it. He ain't got no drums and bass. It ain't no fucking U2 because there's 4 guys in U2 and just ain't Bono and Edge. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's my little side right there. My little gripe with their little album they put out yesterday, which is bullshit. Of course, Ed Malloy is a hit job artist, and our record with him is weird. We have lost the last couple games where he refs on purpose because that's what he does. We have a 44% winning record when Ed Malloy is present, but Minnesota has the exact same record. In fact, they're the exact same number of wins and losses. 44%, even. Ed Malloy for us in the ref percentages, and we did lose the last game. In fact, that last game we lost was it wasn't the Clippers game. It was the Cleveland game. It was that Cleveland game on Sunday that Ed Malloy did that. We lost because Cleveland blew us out, but he was there just in case to make sure that we lost. The second ref is a good ref. It's JB DeRosa. He's somebody that we actually like having as a ref. He's from Kentucky, but he now lives in Canton, Ohio. His favorite TV show is The Big Bang Theory. He likes the movie The Kingsman series. His favorite musician is Kenny Chesney. He'd most like to visit the British Virgin Islands. He'd like to play golf at Pebble Beach. His hidden talent is cooking. His father was a referee. Also, his name was Joe DeRosa. And JB started reffing at the age of 13. He likes to play golf and travel with his wife. And his favorite meal is salmon and risotto. So we got salmon and risotto for him. And then Ed Malloy wants pasta. Pasta for Ed Malloy. Salmon risotto for JB DeRosa. JB DeRosa is a good record with us. We won the last game that he refereed for us this season. We are 57% winning percentage with him around. Meanwhile, actually, technically, the Timberwolves have a better record than us when we're around 58%. So the split is 57-58 for the Timberwolves for JB DeRosa, even though he is the one that favors us the most. He favors the Timberwolves a little bit more. So that's tough. That's tough. That's a tough situation. The third ref is a ref we haven't seen this entire year. This is going to be the first game refereed for the Raptors by Scott Wall. He's in his 29th season from Jacksonville, Illinois. He lives in Merritt Island, Florida. His favorite TV show is NCIS. He likes the James Bond movies. His favorite musician is Tim McGraw. I said his favorite TV show is NCIS. His favorite musician is Tim McGraw. His favorite book is the Mitch Rapp series. His favorite app is Angry Birds. This dude's still playing Angry Birds? What the? He'd most like to visit Rome, and he'd like to skydive someday. Scott Wall, his father, Bill, is the former director of USA Basketball, and his mother, Patricia, is a former Southeastern Conference Associate Commissioner. So, yeah, Scott Wall's been around forever. And like I said, we haven't seen him this year. It's really weird how they do this. Why do we get some refs not at all the whole season, and some refs like crazy, like Ben Taylor? We see all the time. Scott Wall's record with the Raptors franchise over the history is 54% winning percentage, and the Timberwolves are 45%. So Scott Wall does favor us straight up. So 54-45 for the Raptors. That's the split. And as I said, we have not had a game with him this season, so I can't tell you whether we won or lost the last game that he played. So Ed Malloy is straight down the middle. The same record for both teams. JB DeRosa favors us historically, but he actually favors the Timberwolves a little bit more tonight. And then Scott Wall favors us slightly as the third ref. There you go. There's your ref report. I'm not happy that Ed Malloy is here. In fact, I think that that's really shady and weird that Ed Malloy is reffing another game for us so soon. And once again, we have this streak of having very notorious referees being our crew chief. It's so strange and weird that we keep getting these guys. Seriously, there's something. I have red flags going up when I keep seeing Mark Davis, Tony Brothers, Ed Malloy, Ben Taylor reffing our games. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange. All right, let's keep going with the comments, guys. Mike is saying, I have NBA TV Canada. But sometimes TSN has the 905 games, and YouTube are the place to see the 905 games. I want TSN to expand the number of games they have instead of replaying top 10 reruns. Yeah, that's something, it makes sense. They won't do it, Mike. Listen, TSN's fucked. They've always been fucked with how they cover the Raptors. They treat us really badly. They put us on TSN 4. We are a premium top level major sports league, the NBA. TSN treats us like we're fucking they have a priority list, and obviously Maple Leaf hockey is the number one priority, and then you probably got curling next, and then Blue Jays baseball, and then you probably got some other bullshit I don't know, junior hockey, and then you're gonna have all this stuff tiered above the Raptors. The Raptors are 10th priority on their list. They may even put fucking wrestling on priority over the Raptors in the history of TSN. I hate that channel. It's such a fucking bullshit channel. There's no reason why people should be having to get a cable package that has fucking 4 TSNs to see some of the Raptors games. This is bullshit. They wouldn't do this shit to Leaf fans and hockey fans. This has been a gripe of mine for decades, and it pisses me off how TSN and Sportsnet treat our team. Now, Sportsnet is better because they don't have a whole ton of channels where they can bury the Raptors on TSN 4 or something like that. But it pisses me off to no end when I see there's stupid ass curling on TSN 1 and the Raptors are on TSN 8 or something like that. Just a little bit of my gripe since we kind of brought up this subject, and it's always been this case. It's stupid. Why do you make Raptors fans have to pay out their ass to see the team that they love when you can basically sometimes see the Leafs on antenna, on CBC, on free television? Meanwhile, they fucking stick it to us and make us pay out the ass to be able to see our favorite team on TV. That's bullshit. Fuck you, TSN. Fuck you. corporate fucking sports network. There you go. Yeah, watch it on YouTube. Seriously. If you don't have to watch it on TSN, don't watch it on TSN. Watch it on YouTube. Give that more views there. But yeah, I'm sorry. Mike just spurred me on to a gripe that I've had for a long time. I've had this gripe since the 90s about how these sports networks treat the Raptors and preempt them or like pick other shit to put on instead of them. Yeah, fuck you guys. The board or whoever's fucking making those decisions. Jimmy's saying, y'all see March Madness? Number 1 seed Purdue upset by the 16th seed FDU. Just crazy to see. Imagine we shock the world like that. Man, oh man, that would be something special. You saying we could do something crazy from this 8th seed or something like that in the playoffs? Yeah, that'd be fun. Sure. This is crazy. Listen, they have a record like Purdue Boilermakers of the last couple years of going out to very low seeds in the March Madness dance. And I hate that. I hate that. I think it's the coach. I think he sucks. I mean, Zach Edey has been playing amazing. He's probably the best player in college basketball this year. And now he's out to a Cinderella story. And the 16th seed takes out the number 1 seed. Everybody's bracket's busted. If anybody has a bracket that's intact right now, you're a fucking Nostradamus. I'm sorry. If you were able to know everything that happened in this first week of March Madness, kudos to you. You're fucking brilliant at prognosticator. If you could get this right, you deserve that big, huge pile of money that Yahoo gives out the perfect bracket. If you can survive this shit this year, holy crap. They busted brackets left and right. And if that Purdue game did not put you out, I'm sure something already did before, because there's already been crazy upsets in March Madness. It's interesting because I don't follow it at all. I just hear the headlines. And when I heard all the buzz last night about Purdue going out like that, I was like, oh my gosh, March Madness is crazy this year. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And that is crazy stuff. Oh my gosh. Evelyn's saying, sorry, Lex, it's my friend Alex's birthday. You got mixed up. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's not me, Evelyn. I thought you might have meant that it's Tom's birthday and we didn't realize it. But I think Tom's birthday I remember Tom's birthday kind of. That was another time. Either way, Evelyn, it's all good. I will be very happy to see you with Tom and I next Wednesday at some point. Hopefully you'll come down and see us. Are you going to go to the game, Evelyn? Get a ticket and go into the game too. Indiana Pacers. Yeah, Scott B saying, Alexi, no matter the narrative, the top 3 teams don't want to see a surging Raptors team in the first round. They will never admit it, but bet your ass it's on their mind. Yeah, I don't think they're going to try and avoid us. Like, I don't know. That'd be really dumb. Like, you never want to do things in your life out of fear. Like, if they're fearing us, you just do what you do and end up where you are. And if you get us, that's your lot. I'm sorry. If I was a Bucks fan, I'd be like, win out. I don't give a shit. We want to have the best possible record for the whole entire season. Because in some ways that's a bragging right. Like, well, we won 50 games this season or something like that. Those kind of things are important. And once again, if you have the Masai Ujiri win mentality, why the fuck do you want to lose on purpose right at the end of the season? I've been talking a lot about inertia going into the playoffs. Well, maybe that's a really dumb idea, is to like tank a little bit at the end of the season just to fine tune where your seating is. Because what if you don't fucking get back out of that losing ways and you're not primed up with your offensive engine in the first round because you were not trying as hard right at the end of the season? That could really backfire on a team to try and do that kind of strategy. So, hey, if they want to do that kind of stuff, Scott B, I'm fine with it. That's them. Let them do their own thing. We're going to just try and win. And that's all we care about. They do some shady shit at the end of the season when we're playing Milwaukee and Boston. Well, so be it. We'll be ready for it. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, you're right. That's the one thing you're very right. These 3 teams do not want to see us, any of those 3 teams, whether it be the Bucks, the Celtics, or the Sixers. But we're going to get one of them if we get through the play-in. They'll probably be rooting for the team against us in the play-in just to try and make sure they don't have to deal with us. Mike's saying it's recent. They talk about 15 games left in the season. Okay, so it's recent. All right. I was looking at Malachi's hair, and I was like, that doesn't look like Malachi looks like now, does he? Maybe he just doesn't play anymore, so I don't know. I don't know. Fiercey saying, thank you, Lex and Stillman, for the 905 interview. Anytime, Fiercey. Anytime, Fiercey. Scotty Barnes, Twitch family. Scott B saying Nick Nurse mentioned that every team we played on that swing had at least a 2-day rest before playing us. That's a huge factor in why they won. Only team that can beat the Raptors is the Raptors. You know what? That's a good point, Scott, and you're exactly right. Nick said this yesterday about the both LA teams and Denver. They all had 2 days off before. There wasn't no back to back. There wasn't even just one game. There were 2 days off between them having to play us. So they were fully rested and in good shape. And in some ways, the schedule makers keep that in mind. Trust me. They really, really do. And once again, look, we have 2 back-to-backs to finish the season. Well, who are the teams we're playing on the second night of the back-to-back? Milwaukee and Boston. That's right. And that is a little bit of gaming it helping them also. That it seems like most of our back-to-backs this season have been the second night against a top Eastern team like Brooklyn or Philly, Milwaukee or Boston or Cleveland. All these teams getting us on a second night of a back-to-back this season, at least once. Jimmy's saying masked Koloko is going to be a menace. I want to see what he has. Like, what's your mask style, Kolokes? Is it going to be the clear? Are you going to get that cool LeBron black mask? Are you going to look like the Phantom of the Opera is here to play in the basketball game? I don't know. I want to see Koloko in the mask. Will he even be available today? He may not because it's fresh. He's that fresh broken nose. Maybe they're saying we shouldn't really try and play him yet. Let him heal a bit. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll find out later, I'm sure. Nameless saying that these refs in the late games of the season are just another reinforcing layer of the schedule makers' manipulation designed to suppress our success. I do wonder about this. It is really, really crazy how we're getting high level top refs that have been around forever, the dirty ones, the ones that you worry about, the personalities. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, there's a couple things in our favor today. The fact that Minnesota played a double overtime last night against the Bulls and DeMar and lost. They may be a little bit hungry because they lost, but that's a lot of minutes on the court for their main players. Their important players getting 40 or 50 minutes on the court last night. Yeah, that should be an advantage for us. And that means, listen, Nick Nurse, go a little deeper in your bench. You know what? Play 10 guys and run them ragged. Like really, really run them ragged. I don't want our guys to be tired too, because in the fourth quarter, that's where we can really jump on them. Rest Fred and Pascal and the guys, the starters a bit, so that they're fresh for the last 6 minutes of the game, and watch how tired the Minnesota Timberwolves look at that point in the game. Trust me. Seriously, do this, Nick. Save their minutes for later and have them run them off the court in the last quarter. That is a really sound strategy to win today. And I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see that. But you're right, Nameless. I wonder about this. It's like, all right, the schedule, they make the schedule to be all fucked up. And now, we're kind of turning it around. Now they're going to give us all these problem refs. Yeah, I wonder about that too. Mike saying, Ed Malloy, any last words? Are you going to challenge the Raptors' freedom from bad calls? Okay, I'm not sure. He has a little thing like here. Yeah, that was that whole fucked up call earlier this season where one ref told us we could challenge a call. And then Ed Malloy said, no, you can't challenge this kind of call. And then we lost the timeout because of confusion. And it was just bullshit. Yeah, it's that kind of shit I'm talking about. That kind of bullshit. Yeah. Isaac Campbell's got the food today. I see that Tom, I don't know where Tom is. I know he was here. I saw him, but Isaac's taking care of the food today. He's got sushi and pasta. And then he's got rice. It looks like he's got, I don't even know what that is. It looks like it's pasta with a big cream puff on it. And then he's got a piece of meat. Is that right for them? The pasta for Ed Malloy, yeah. And then pot roast for Scott Wall, yeah, that's right. And then I guess that's salmon risotto is yeah, okay. All right, Isaac. That's not bad. This is cool. Tom's not filling in. So Isaac's the guest chef, the emoticon chef. Good job, benevolent Isaac Campbell. I like it. Let's see. Nameless is saying hockey blows, bro. Believe me, I've watched it for over 30 years. I in some ways I don't want to diss hockey because as a sport, I think it's interesting. It's kind of interesting. I used to watch a lot of games when I worked at the Air Canada Center. And, there was a lot of Leaf games that I was at. So I know that environment. I know that kind of culture. And I know about Leaf games, Matt Sundin era, Curtis Joseph, Ty Domi. Those were interesting times. I don't know. In some ways, I like hockey because of the like more junior levels. Or you know what I like? I like women's hockey. How about that? I'm really into women's hockey. Fuck men's hockey. I'm all about women's hockey now. I have cousins that have little girls that play out in Manitoba right now. They're up and coming youth of female hockey players that I want to empower and put on blast. And fuck the NHL. I'm only all about women's hockey now. That's what I'm following. Yeah, there we go. All right. Logical saying Zach Edey's draft stock just dropped a bit, could fall. Interesting if we can get our own 7-foot front court look too. Interesting direction. Well, are you saying that there's a chance, logical Raptors fanatic, that we could maybe draft Zach because maybe he's fallen a little bit in stock? I don't know. Where were they projecting him right now before they got put out last night? Was he a top 5? Is he a top 10 pick? Where is he on the draft boards and perspective for this season? For this coming up, I want to find this out. He may not be the right choice. You know, Leonard Miller is still killing it for the G League Ignite. They may have shut down Scoot Henderson, but our guy from Fort Erie is expanding his game even further, getting like 30 point, 10 rebound games like crazy in the G League right now. So in some ways, I really like Leonard Miller. It seems like he's grown a couple inches this year too. Like he was 6'9" or something like that. He looked like he's around Scotty's height in the summer, but now he looks like he's getting close to 7 foot tall at this point. In some ways, I really like Leonard Miller right now. Like he is really starting to look like the guy that we may want to get. Yeah, let's get some Canadians. We lost a Canadian this season. I was thinking about it. It's like Kem's gone, and we don't have 3 Canadians on our team anymore. We need to get our quota for Canadian content on our team back. So we need to draft the Canadian guy this summer. Masai and Bobby, get Zach Edey, get Leonard Miller, and let's get 3 Canadians back on the roster. I like going in that direction since we lost one recently. Yeah. Isaac saying 0 brackets left in March Madness. Facts. Seriously? Is that true? Nobody winning no money this year. What do they do when that happens? Everybody just lost. You just all lose your money. It all goes to the house. Is that what they do? Is that what Yahoo does with their brackets? It was like nobody won. We're just keeping all the money or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they do that. That's crazy. Jimmy's saying I think the Bucks are already doing it. Giannis only played 27 minutes against the Pacers. Interesting. Very interesting, Jimmy. That is very well. Maybe I'm wrong. That's weird though. I mean, maybe he has nagging injuries and they're trying to manage him to get him right for the end of the year. I'll look more at them tonight to get ready for tomorrow because I haven't really looked at the Bucks very closely in a while, like since we played them earlier this season, and they've gone on like crazy long win streaks since I've seen them. And then, of course, they've got a lot of new players and different change on their team too. So I'm gonna have to see where they're at and what's going on with them. Tom Duke saying, "I am here, just rocking out to you too." Not. I appreciate Isaac's Rebus skills. Now, Tom, I love them still. I'm just disappointed in them. I just don't know what they're doing right now. I feel like Bono's gone a little too power hungry and he's running that YouTube car into the ground. You know, between them going to go play at Las Vegas and do a stand there. And this thing, I mean, seriously, they didn't need to do this, but they did. I mean, if you go listen to it, Tom, go listen to it. See what you think. Some of it's okay. It's just most of it is not. Some of it's okay. There's a couple of little, like I would say the Stories for Boys version on that album that dropped yesterday may be better than the original, but you know, it's really bad. It's really bad. There's no Adam and Larry on it. There's no drums and bass. You don't have any drums and bass. It's not fucking U2. You need all 4 of them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. I don't want to talk about U2 too much though. And I don't want to diss them too much either. Space Cadet saying Chev had to make another video to defend his channel. He who shall not be named sending his minions after him on Twitter. That's fun. Send them here. Come on, Penseri. He did send them here. They failed miserably when they came in here. Betson Arts. I remember that motherfucker. Yeah, all these idiots from him coming over here. Well, that's fun. That's interesting. Well, they're trying to stir up a beef. Maybe this is a little bit WWE, what's going on with them. Maybe. Nameless is saying, hockey's boring. Skating up and down the ice for 60 minutes in a 0-0 game. You know, this is a gripe I do have about hockey and soccer or football, is that they're boring to me. There's not enough scoring. I really am that kind of guy. It's weird. I have this uncle who lives in Coburg who hates basketball. And we talk about this at family gatherings. He's like, oh, you still like the Raptors? I'm like, yeah, you motherfucker, I do like the Raptors. They're my team, bitch. But he's like, I hate basketball because there's too much scoring. I'm like, what is this? He says it's too much scoring. I mean, he's too old and he can't handle all the scoring. It's just too much to catch. So it's much better to watch baseball or hockey because the scoring is lower and he can keep up. It's so annoying. He's so annoying when he talks about basketball with me. In fact, I avoid that uncle at family gatherings recently just because he's just annoying. It's like, I don't get it, but I'm with you. Hockey can be very boring. There's no scores sometimes. They're just going back and forth. I get what you're saying. But I also say the same damn thing about soccer too, as far as that too, you know. Jimmy's saying hard to say, but teams will definitely play games with their seeding and try to end up where they think is best. Yeah. I don't know what their intentions are, and I'm not really looking at it from their perspective, so I can't really understand their motives in these cases. But I do understand that this could very well happen, and it isn't a bad thing necessarily that we're playing the number 1 and the number 2 seed for our last 3 games. Trust me, it may not be a bad thing. They may actually really sit a lot of guys in Boston. They may sit Giannis on the last game of the season when we play the Bucks here in Scotiabank Arena in our last regular season game. So we'll just have to see how they want to handle this. Well, right now, on the docket, Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's take care of business tonight, and then we'll go take care of Milwaukee tomorrow. Logical saying, if we're talking about pushing Precious closer to what OG is versus than what Serge is, so that opens a center spot in a sense. So they have the option to play all 3 when they get more developed from spacing. Yeah, I mean, I think that you could do this. Like ideally, are you talking about Zach? If you get Edey and you have him, he would actually probably have to be the center because he's probably the less mobile. But you could play Poeltl at power forward, and then you could slot Koloko down at small forward just because he's quick and light and he can play the defensive perimeter like we were talking about yesterday. The Koloko's quick enough to guard guards. So in some ways, you could play that 3 center lineup of Poeltl, Edey, and Koloko. It'd be really crazy looking. You could do it though, Mike, and that it would be really, really weird. But I agree with this. Like we want to push Precious to being more like a wing. He should be looking more like OG than Serge. In some ways, he is kind of like Serge just because of some ways, but in some ways, he has a burst and attack the rim better than Serge. In some ways, Scott B saying you can't go after NBA Chev, so don't talk. He's a huge passionate fan like the rest of us real ones. We all get upset, but no questioning the passion and the realness. Yeah, I'm not after him. I'm just like, listen, the fight between him and the minions, that's interesting, and he should be schooling them. He's verbally very good at telling people to just fuck off and going off on them. So I'm sure Chev can handle his own shit. And I'm sure it's pretty entertaining to a degree, some of it. But, I kind of wish they'd come after me some more. I wouldn't mind being rabble-roused by some idiots from his He Who Shall Not Be Named's fan base. It'd be fun to kind of tear them up every once in a while. But they don't even come in here anymore. They just don't. G saying, I know the Bucks are gunning for the 3rd spot. Sounds crazy, but they won the chip at the 3rd seed, and it may have something to do with resting players more before the playoffs. I don't think it's far-fetched. I know you guys are saying this, but I find it really kind of like, all right, this is what I'll say. If they want to do that, so be it. They're fucking stupid then. I mean, there's no signs of this, guys, other than they lost to the Pacers and they rested Giannis a bit. They're 7 of 3 in their last 10. They're 1.5 games above the Celtics. I mean, that is really a good accomplishment. And it seems like the Celtics are trying to win. They're 5-5. Yeah, I don't get it. I'll believe it when I see it. How about that? I'll believe it when I see it. It doesn't seem like it's smart for them to do that. I'll believe it when I see it. Stillman saying Brian Scalabrine's color analyst for the Celtics is so bummed not getting Jakob on their team and says we are a lot better since getting him. He said it twice recently with a real somber tone. See, I told y'all. Seriously, on the down low, us getting Jakob was a victory over the Celtics. They did really want him, and he would have been a piece that probably would have gotten them to the championship this year. I'm not lying. He's that good. Poeltl is really underrated in this league, and people know, we know, the fans know, watching him recently on our team, and the Celtics fans know And Scalabrine, who he definitely knows because he played in the league, he played in positions, and he knows that big man kind of stuff. So he sees what Poeltl's doing, and he knows what it would add to the Celtics roster. Well, you ain't getting him. This man's on our team. This dude right here is bench mob official from before, and he just came back, and he is back with the team, and he's not bench mob anymore. He's starting mob, and starting mob is badass. And yeah, you can't have him Celtics. Fuck y'all. Yes, yes. Mike is saying Stillman. That made my day. Not gonna lie, laughing my fucking ass off. White Bumba. White Bumba? Is that what they call him? Scalabrine is such a weird guy. He's such a homer. I hate listening to the Celtics announce team. I cannot listen to them because Scalabrine, he's the worst. I can't listen to him. MSJ saying, I told you that Raptor was the Dark Triad. What? I wish I never had spoke on his show. Ugh. Anyway, the Raps looking better. Got to beat Mini. They made us look bad last time. Precious is like Ibaka, no? In some ways, I mean, the threes, sure, and the size, and maybe the power forward center position. But in some ways, Precious is so much more talented than Serge in certain ways. I don't know. That is a good comparison. But in some ways, I do like comparing him. Maybe you could be more like OG than Serge. And that's a totally different kind of thing. And I think that partly is because Precious has the defensive chops similar to OG does, as far as the interchangeability between being able to guard Jokic and then also being able to guard De'Aaron Fox or something like that. That's the difference. I think Serge can't guard the little guys like Precious can. So that may be something. I think Precious has more talent and can be a better player than Serge Ibaka. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, he should be aiming higher than trying to be just like Serge. He should be aiming higher. He should be trying to be more like Pascal and OG and Sky and aiming in that kind of way. That's what I'll say about it with Achua. Yeah, you're saying Darth Raptor? Are you talking about he who shall not be named? Nameless is saying I invite knuckleheads with their online beef in here all the time to talk their trash, but they don't show up. I love that, Nameless. Please tell them to come see the Raptor Freak and come say hi, and we'll see if they have good points or have interesting observations or fucked up bullshit that they're saying. Come talk to us about Fred haters. Please come in. The door's open. Come in. Wipe your feet. Come in. Sit down. And come and talk to me real quick about how much you hate Fred VanVleet. Please do that. Fiercely saying, briefly watched the Pensair clip as people talked about it. Told them it was straight garbage and regretted adding a view. How can a true fan make fun of the players and organization? It annoyed me to the core. Fiercely, I'm glad you brought this up. And this is just something in general that I want to talk about with Raptors Nation, because it is something that is indicative of him, of course. But it's also very common on Twitter and in different spaces with Raptors Nation. Y'all are fans. I know that y'all don't take life seriously, or maybe you're not as connected emotionally or passionately as the Raptor Freak cult is. But like I said, why do you guys, when the team doesn't do well, feel like that gives you the license to be insulting, to talk shit, to kick them while they're down on Twitter with dumb tweets? They're snarky and you're just trying to be funny. I know some people deal with like uncomfortableness or like sadness or depressiveness with like funny, like lighthearted comedy that's dark. I get that. But at also the same time, why is this necessary? Why do you all want to kick our team down when they've lost 6 games in a row and you just feel like being snarky and cute with your dumbass comments? And you see, that's something that I really look for on Twitter and different places on Facebook, that if I see people like kicking them when they're down or saying something like that, I lose respect for them. And I don't really look at them as true fans. I look at them as Raptors Nation within our nation, but they're assholes. They're just assholes that are in our group that, sure, they say they're Raptors fan, they identify as it, but they really don't have their backs. They're really kind of like, well, if they're not doing well, I feel like I have the allowance to insult them and talk shit about them or like make fun of them or something like that. These are people that say they're Raptors fans, but then they'll turn around and if Fred has a bad night, they call him a midget. And I'm like, why are you calling our captain a demeaning term like that? A slur, actually. It's not a nice word unless you're a wrestler. If you're a wrestler, you can be called a midget, but that's not a nice word for anybody else. Those little guys that get in the ring and they like to fight, yeah, that's what they want to be called, because that's what it always has been, the history of it. And they want to continue that legacy. But if you're calling somebody that word otherwise, that's like a slur. That's not a nice thing to say. So anybody who's using the term midget with Fred VanVleet, you're not a Raptors fan. Fuck you, is what I'll say to you. Yeah. Because I've wondered about this fiercely. And this is something that is, it's like, I get it. Some people like to be funny and witty, but you don't, the best comedy isn't at the expense of someone. If you want to be funny in the way that you don't have to make somebody the butt of the joke, or you have to put somebody down, because that's cheap comedy. That's easy comedy. You want to fucking be a master of comedy? Make jokes that don't put anybody at a detriment. Yeah, those are the masters. Those are the best ones. The ones that can do it that way. Yeah. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, I hope Precious bounces back. I love when he's in rhythm. He makes us so much better. All right, Jimmy, I'm going to make a prediction about Precious right now. He's going to get back on the court today. They're going to let him play tonight, and he's going to kick major ass, because he did get a DNP in the last game, and he wants to prove to Nick Nurse that you can't afford not to play me every single game. And I really want to see him show up and do that. There's a really cool picture of Precious on his Instagram from yesterday, hanging out at Giants of Africa, and he's with the great big giant, Omos, from the WWE. Omos, Omos, he's in wrestling. I don't know if y'all know who he is. He's this big, huge African guy, and he's like over 7 feet tall. And he's like fighting Brock Lesnar and like Bobby Lashley and people at WWE. And he's just a big, huge dude. And there's this really cool picture of him with Precious. And he makes Precious look like an ordinary sized person. That's right. This dude is that big. He's like this much taller than Precious. And Precious is like 6'9". So it's like the picture of Omos with Precious was pretty cool to see yesterday. Yeah, go check out his Instagram. You'll see him with him. And of course, Masai's there with Omos also. This is Giants of Africa. And literally, Omos is a giant from Africa. He literally is that. Mike's saying, MSJ, Precious defensive role-wise, Serge at power forward center is different from what OG does at small forward, power forward. The offense will develop similarly shooting-wise, but the speed is a little closer to Siakam than OG or Serge. So Serge doesn't have speed. You're saying that, Precious is faster than OG and Serge. So OG's a little plodding. And then, yeah, Precious has a great first step. And he's really good at getting by guys with a burst. And that's part of the difference, too. You didn't see that with Serge. Serge doesn't have a first step like that. I mean, he can go to the basket if they give him an open lane. He'll attack the rim. But it's not like he'll actively try and get around the defender when he's right next to him. And with that first step, get around him and boom, take off. That's the difference. Precious has that. So, yeah, I like that. I like what Mike's saying here. I think that's exactly right, a lot of what he's saying in here as far as looking at Precious. MSJ saying, yes, Darth, the Vader of the fan base. He isn't a fan. Anyways, based on Precious's movement, I think he's more rigid than OG, more like Ibaka style. And I do think Precious should keep at power forward. Well, I mean, he could be versatile enough to guard at shooting guard all the way up to center. I wouldn't put him on point guards too much, but he could guard some of the bigger shooting guards in this league. And that way, that's a bit more versatile defensively than Ibaka was. I don't know. It's interesting. You're saying that you think he's more rigid than OG? I don't. In fact, I think that Precious is more fluid than OG. OG is a little more clunky and plodding, and he's a little more measured and slow, whereas Precious is burst. And like, I'm catching you by surprise, and I'm putting you on your heels. And then when I get to the rim, the other thing is Precious has two things in his favor when he's near the rim, when he's attacking. He has hang time, which means he can hang in the air a little longer, and he has strength. So that means he can meet contact in some ways better than a lot of the Raptors on the team and finish. And we've noticed that, like when Precious attacks, he can take a hit or two, and he still hangs in the air and lays it in somehow, some way. And that's something that I think he has a little bit better than OG even at this point already. So very interesting. Isaac's saying, I have a few U2 albums on vinyl. Sorry about their new album. Go see a band called Proto Martyr at the Horseshoe Tavern in June. That's interesting that you brought them up, Isaac, because they made my list last week. Their new video's out, and it's quite good. I liked it. So I am familiar with Proto Martyr, And I didn't know they're coming here in June. That's interesting. Listen, it may grow on me. I might have to listen to it a couple times. There may be just a few tracks that I'm like, okay, I'm cool with these. But I am really disappointed. There's a lot of weird people, like YouTube fans, that are kind of in a weird place right now because of this thing they dropped yesterday. G's saying, have faith on Precious. He's extremely athletic. He needs to watch tape and work on his decision making. I can see. Listen, Precious is going to be badass. Honestly, we're going to see him tonight. Come back into the game, and he's going to show some stuff. Watch. I really do believe this. And maybe partly the matchup with the Timberwolves is good for him also. And if they're tired after a double overtime loss, the Bulls last night, hey. So I really do expect Precious to get back out there. Now, think about this. What if Koloko can't play because of the broken nose? Well, then he's definitely going to be playing tonight, Precious Achiuwa. So something like that. Jimmy saying W stream is always Lex. Go Raps. Our confidence can't waver. Woo! Yes, go Pope of positivity, Jimmy Pope. I love it. Thank you. W stream, WU, Jimmy Pope. W Jimmy Pope. That's right. All right, let me just go over. What do I need to do still? Well, I guess we need to do the real mascot matchup. It's about that time. The last time we checked in with the mascot, the real Raptor mascot, he was at a beach with his friend Will the Wizard and their yak, and the thunderstorm started, and they had to get out of the water, and the cops had come because the yak was pooping in the water, and Ben Taylor, the lifeguard, had called the police to get these guys in trouble for defouling the water with the nuggets of poop out of the yak's butt. So the cops show up, and the two cops that show up are Officer Foster and Officer Brothers. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Well, a third cop is just about to show up on the scene too, because they heard that there's a lot of trouble on the scene because of this big, huge yak. And these guys are a little crazy. One dude looks like a dinosaur, and then the other guy's wearing some crazy, funky colored like outfit, and he says he's a wizard. So they're kind of like, oh, these guys are a little weird. We may need backup. So they call in Officer MALLOY. He's showing up too. And now they're trying to decide, are we going to give these guys any trouble? And it's like, what are we going to do here? I'm wondering about this. And they're like, I'm wondering, what should we do? Well, let's vote on it. Since we have 3 cops here, why don't we vote on this real quick? And Tony Brothers, Officer Brothers, is saying we should just let them off with a warning and let them go. And Officer Foster is saying, fuck that. We should nail them. We should take them to jail. Yeah, I hate them. I hate that guy over there, that red guy with the sharp teeth. He looks like a little punk ass. I want to put him in jail right now. Yeah. And then Officer MALLOY's like, I don't know, guys. I'm like, maybe I can be swayed. What's going to happen? Well, they don't even know. There's a bunch of eyes watching them from the woods. This is a crazy thing. They don't realize that this pack of wolves has been tracking the Raptor a little bit because they attacked him before at the beach and they tore him up. They ripped him up real bad earlier this season, and that they still want some more, but they don't realize. This is the thing. These wolves are dangerous to everybody on the beach, whether it's lifeguard Ben Taylor, the police, the yak, whoever. I mean, maybe not the yak. I think the yak can fight the wolves, but that's what I'm saying. They don't even know. So what's going to happen? Are they going to decide to take them to jail? Because Ed MALLOY, the Officer MALLOY, said, yeah, I'm with Officer Foster. Well, let's take them to jail. Or will the wolves run in and eat all the police? That could happen too, y'all. We'll find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. There's a little bit of double trouble between the police officers thinking about taking them down to the Hooskow and the wolves hiding in the woods about to pounce and get some meals on somebody who's out there in the beach right now. It could be Ben Taylor, could be those cops, it could be our Raptor and Will the Wizard getting attacked by the wolves. We'll have to find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. Yeah, there's 3 cops there now. 3 cops. Yikes. Mike's saying Precious has options, but now with the roles starting to be set by talent, the place where they see the space to grow is that small forward, power forward at this point. The future is unwritten, though. Yeah, it's really in a lot of ways, it's going to be on the development, how these guys develop, who shows something more at different times and comes up in this way. They will get the time on the court. And that is not determined or set in stone yet. That's why it's something great for these guys to try and strive for and achieve, is that they can carve out their own big, huge role and big part of superstardom by excelling in the system of Nick Nurse, and what there's a loose general idea that Scotty, you can be as great as you want to be, grow into this. Precious, same thing. And that it really is like that for them, that they have a lot of room to grow into on this team, because Fred and Pascal are vets that have carried the heavy load for a couple of years now. And in some ways, we want to lessen their load by some of these youngsters on the team picking up more of the burden of winning NBA games. And I'm all about that. I'm all about that, Mike. All right, let me do a recap and we'll try and get out of here in 90 minutes. Just real quick, there are injuries for Minnesota, and they did have a game last night that went to double overtime. So they should be very tired today. Anthony Edwards got hurt 8 minutes into the game last night against the Bulls. He is in a walking boot last night, and he is listed as day-to-day right now. I don't know if that's official. It could be that he ends up playing tonight. He's a young man, and he's crazy. And he is on the record for saying he doesn't believe in sitting out games for load management. So if he can physically play tonight, I'll bet you Edwards will. But who knows? Maybe he won't be 100%, or maybe they'll say, no, Anthony, you can't do this. We want you for the stretch run. We don't want a chance you getting further hurt this soon. So who knows? We'll have to see. Their backup guard, Jaylen Noel, is out, and Karl Anthony Towns is still out for them also. Now, as I said, Rudy Gobert has returned to their lineup as of last night, and he will probably be playing tonight. Mike Conley also. So we got to watch out for Mike Conley, Jaden McDaniels, Kyle Anderson, Rudy Gobert, and of course, Taurean Prince, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid, Austin Rivers. That's their lineup pretty much right there. Those are their main core right there. As far as with us, we've got a couple injuries also, unfortunately. We do have Delano Banton ruled out for both games this afternoon. He will not be available for 9:05 or the Raptors tonight. His thumb is still injured. Christian Koloko has a fractured nose, and he is day-to-day questionable to play tonight because of that mass. So he's definitely not going to be at 9:05, obviously. But it may be very well that he doesn't play for us either. Ron Harper, day-to-day also, which I don't understand because he looked like he was suited up for the last game. This is such an important game for the Raptors, 9:05 at 2 o'clock. It's a do or die, basically. If they don't win this game, their season's pretty much done, and they're not going to make the playoffs. So if they don't win today, they're definitely not going to make the playoffs. Let's just put it that way. So 2 o'clock. On YouTube, you can watch the Raptors 9:05 play the second game against the Lakeland Magic. And the referees for that game are Brandon Schwab, Pat O'Connell, and Jacob Barnett. Just real quick, the referees for our Raptors Raptors with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Ed Malloy, JB DeRosa, and Scott Wall are the three refs for the Raptors game today. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. You're just filling it up here. Let's see. David Saborn saying section 115, row 8, seat 3. See you there, guys. Same meeting spot. Wait, David, are you going to the game today or the Indiana game? But if you're going to the game, you go. Are you sitting next to us? Did you get a seat next to Tom and us for the game on Wednesday, David? Please clarify. You have a wrench. You can write in. Indiana. Okay, he is. Whoa, this is about to get real crazy. Did you get Peter in there too? Is it both y'all? Is it both y'all or just you? And I'm glad because I know you have a trouble seeing on the 300 level that you're going to be down there with us. Awesome. So David's going to be sitting with us with Tom and Greg and I. So he's sitting right next to us. This is badass. David, this will be fun because, listen, David can be very loud, and we need his voice. I think that we're going to have him next to me, and that's going to be crazy. Uh-oh. That's going to be double trouble. Listen, I'm already loud as hell. If David's going to be there next to me, I know you can probably get loud too, Tom, and maybe Greg also. But listen, we may have very loud 115. They may not be ready for that on the 100 level. David Saborin and me down there, look out. That's serious stuff. Holy crap, David went and got that. You didn't get Peter too, did you? He was actually going to the game with his buddy in a different section, but he'll come say hi. Okay, so Peter will be there also. Awesome. This is so cool. This is such a great development. Holy crap. Tristan saying, to me, Precious is kind of a combination of OG and Siakam. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, in some ways, I really do think that like the OG and Serge kind of in between there is kind of, to me, like he does have some Serge Ibaka qualities in some ways, but that's a fair combination too, Tristan. I can see that. MSJ saying, yes, Precious is faster. like the upright running of Michael Johnson. OG is fluid as you see how he can stay in front of on anyone on D. It's that OG's clunky on offense and not fluid with the ball. Yeah, he's just awkward. He's just like clunk, bunk, clunk, clunk, bump into you, bunk, bunk. Whereas Precious is like, I'm stepping and I'm gone. I'm gone and I'm around you. Yeah, I think these are good distinctions. Mike's saying there will be times with centers injured and Precious will get power forward center burn then. But most of the time, he's going to be perimeter heavy guarding the versus post patrolling W stream. Thanks, Mike. This is true. And then in some ways, this will save him and maybe expand his offensive game, much like OG. When OG doesn't have to play center, he can play way more on offense. And in some ways, Precious having to mix it up with 4s and 5s has made it harder for him to play better on offense. And I think this is true. We can play Precious at center when other teams are playing small ball. If they have a big, legit center out there, I don't like him playing against them at this point because we have personnel that can do it better. Before we had to, because that's the best option we had. But at this point, save Precious's energy from fighting with guys like Jokic and Embiid and let Jakob fight with them instead. And that way, maybe we see an expansion of Precious's offensive game at the other end of the court, similar to OG. Yeah, David, this is so awesome. I love this development. This is making this even crazier. Good morning to Cool Cat. Let's see. Nameless is saying, what? Crazy. Yeah, only big W's. Listen, Tom's loud. Okay, Tom's loud too. Yeah, we're going to fuck this arena up. Seriously. It may not be a speaker on fire this season against Indiana in the Scotiabank Arena. They may just like break all the glass in that building because we're so loud. Oh, yeah. Instead of a speaker fire, we're going to have breaking glass, just like Stone Cold Steve Austin. We'll do it just in time when the Raptors are about to come out. Tom and David and Greg and I will all stand up and we'll go, oh, and then some glass will break, and then OG will walk out like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. It'll be awesome. Oh, that's so crazy what I just said. I don't know. Tristan's saying, I agree. OG's kind of clunky on offense, but I'd be happy to see him as a 3 threat as well as quick, powerful driving threat from the wing. Yeah. OG's so awesome right now. I'm really happy with what has developed with him in the last couple of years. Like on the down low, his development has been very kind of quiet. And, it kind of sneaks up on you. It's kind of like if you really think about where OG was in his second season in the NBA when we won the championship, and you think about where he was, like how much he was scoring, he did a lot of the good defensive stuff, but the offensive stuff has really developed and expanded and is really, really awesome. I love it so much. All right, y'all. This has been a great stream. I appreciate everybody coming here. What a great news thing about David. This is going to be off the chain, seriously. So we're definitely going to have to go down there and do some tailgating before the game at Real Sports. Well, maybe we can get that Raptors Tonight table early, and I'll set up the computer, and we'll do our own fake little Raptors Tonight, and maybe we'll order a bunch of food and put it in front of us. We'll do like a parody of Raptors Tonight before the game. I don't know. Just throw darts at the dartboard. Maybe that works. I don't know. MSJ saying, yes, OG is a force, and I would like to see what you said. Yeah. I mean, OG's threes are fantastic right now already. Tom Duke saying, let's fucking go game day, baby. That's right. Let's take care of those Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, y'all. And first, let's get rid of those Lakeland Magic for the season, listen, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my preview and you found some useful information about the game today. Nick Nurse, keys to victory, tire them out. They played a double overtime game in Chicago last night that they lost. They were deflated and lost the game at the end. That may mean they're a little hungry. But listen, they've been losing more than they've been winning. I think they've won 1 out of their last 5 games, the Timberwolves. So in some ways, they're ripe for the pick, and we need to kick their ass and make sure we get that W tonight. In some ways, tell your team, listen, y'all played them in January, and they came and stole a win from you by 2 points at the end of the game when they had D'Angelo Russell. Well, Nick Nurse, frame it that way. Tell them, it's like, look, y'all lost by 2 to Minnesota in January. Get back and beat them today and even up the series and make it feel better. You got that nice healing feeling from beating Denver Nuggets in Toronto early this week after that travesty that Scott Foster did. Well, let's get that healing feeling once again against the Minnesota Timberwolves today and make it right. That 2-point loss in Minnesota in January. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nameless is saying I'm predicting an automatic dub against Indy. Well, let's listen. This is gonna be serious. Like I don't mess around seriously. And if these guys are gonna sit next to me and they're gonna follow like me and how loud and when I get loud, we are gonna be a force down there. Seriously, there are gonna be some people sitting next to us. They're gonna be like, these guys are loud. They're gonna be thinking that. Yes, yes. And if they're real ones, they'll be loud with us. If they're not, and they're kind of like holding their nose, like, why are you so loud? It's just a game. Yeah, it's a game, motherfucker, and we're on the playoff run, bitch. You better get loud. Maybe I'll bring this guy with us. Should I bring this guy to the game with us? We could have 5 guys sitting in the row with 4 men and a beaver. Yeah, that sounds like a really bad 80s movie. 4 men and a beaver. You want to come to the game, Justin? You think you can come to the game with me? I think I could sneak you in. I'll put you in underneath my jacket. If I show up to that security row and I have this with me, do you think they'll look at me funny? Like, why the fuck do you have a beaver puppet with you? Well, it's Justin Bieber. You don't know who Justin Bieber is? This man is famous. That's Justin Bieber. Anyway, you can go. You're my son. I love you. Now go away. I don't know. We hadn't seen Justin in a while, had you? Yeah, I don't know. Fun guy saying every contender beefing. I think you should pick JJ Buckets as your nemesis. You need Bunkus or whatever, that kid who said he'd trade the Toronto Raptors team for like a good player for the Leafs. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't know if I want to start a feud with anybody. I don't know if I want to be WWE. If it develops naturally and it evolves, that kind of thing, sure. But otherwise, I don't care. I'm not trying to fight or put anybody else on blast. I'd rather do it with somebody that I respect and I would like to get more attention for. And that's part of the problem. I don't want to get more attention for somebody that I actually don't like. So in some ways, I don't want to get involved in one of these. So I don't know. We'll have to see. This is interesting, though, fun guy. I mean, maybe you could go pick fights for me and bring somebody in, and then they enter the gauntlet, the arena, and we'll see what happens. Isaac's saying Raptor Freaks tonight, but it's really in the afternoon. Yeah, we could do Raptors afternoon or something like Raptors afternoon. And we can maybe we do impressions of the personalities on there. Like I'll do Randy Urban. And Tom's like Jack Armstrong or something like that. That would be hilarious. We could cosplay that shit. Cosplay that. David could be Leo Routens and he could be like really arrogant and like talk shit about Joel Embiid the whole time. That would be hilarious. It's like, what do you think, Leo? Joel Embiid is a big piece of shit and I hate him. Oh, okay, Leo. Very good insight. Is that Leo or David Saborin? I think this could be a very good show if we do this. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Tom Duke saying that parody will be hilarious, informative. I know. Maybe we should do this Raptors afternoon. I don't think they'll let us film there like that. I mean, I'd even try and get their shot, like where they sit and everything, and just do it perfect. Like we want that table over there. And can you just give us the Raptors tonight spread? We don't care. Money is no object. If we don't eat all this, we're feeding the homeless outside. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah. Justin's coming. I don't know. We could get Justin to come. Maybe Tom. I mean, listen, it is past his bedtime when games go, but I don't know, maybe. Common Crazy is saying NBA Chef versus Pensair basketball. What? Put me on the undercard. Let me fight somebody. You want me to fight JD Bunkus? All right, let's go. David's laughing. This is actually a good idea. David, you should start doing your Leo impression. Start practicing it just in case. MSJ saying, yes, do a Raptors this afternoon. Yeah, why not? We'll just infiltrate and just start that shit. They'll be like the Raptors people are there and like, what are you guys doing? Listen, do you want to ask a question? You can ask a question and then you get to shoot the basket. And if you get it, you get an appetizer. Wait, that's our thing. What are you guys doing here? It's like, we're Raptors of afternoon. This would be so classic. It's so good. We got to do it. Oh, we got to do it, guys. We're going to figure this out, Tom, when you get here. Yes. Raptors fan afternoon would be cool. Yes. Cool cat. Like, fight that. The Lou show. Well, that's the Raptors show. We got to make it our own distinctive name, like Raptors afternoon. Raptors tonight, Raptors today, Raptors afternoon. Maybe. I don't know. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here while we've got everybody rolling the laughter. Let's beat the Wolves tonight. Yeah. I want to see those Wolves feasting on Officer Foster and Officer Malloy. and not on the Raptor and Will the Wizard. I'd like to see those Wolves attack the referees. Yeah, let's see if that happens in the real Mascot matchup next time. All right, thanks, guys. Let's get out there and Raptorize your day. Do it the right way, just like you hope the Raptors will play on the court tonight. Let's get that easy, early lead, Raptors. Go down low, get that high percentage shot, and then expand your game out to the three-point line, and then boom, you'll be blossoming your offense like you have been recently, and we can see all the good things happen for our team and getting that big W today. These games matter more than ever. And seriously, Nick, capitalize on the Timberwolves playing a double overtime loss to the Chicago Bulls last night. This is something that's so good. Rest your dudes right so they can be full energy at the end and blow them off the court at the end of the game. This is a very sound strategy to use in this particular situation. Yeah. Mike's saying, after the KO punch, Leo says, get that garbage out of here. Yeah, I love this idea. Seriously, and we'll get Greg can be Alvin or something. We'll make Greg Alvin Williams, and that would be funny too. All right, y'all. Have a great day. I appreciate and love every one of y'all. This is going to be so fun when Tom gets in town, and you're going to see him on the stream with me as a co-host for a couple days. That's going to be fun. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Be ready for 2 o'clock, 9:05, Lakeland do or die game. Very important game. Take it seriously, 9:05, and get that W. And then tonight, the big enchilada. That's right. Let's take down the Timberwolves, Yaka Poeltl and Mr. Van Vliet and Mr. Siakam. That's right. All y'all, take them down to town, downtown Toronto, and kick their ass. Yeah, and I don't give a shit. Ed Malloy, don't you fucking come in here with any kind of bullshit. Seriously, Ed Malloy, I ain't having it. No ref hit jobs or none of this shit. You call that game right, I'll be watching you, and you better fucking not do any kind of shady shit. That's right. We the afternoon. That's right. www. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Let's go Raptors.